If you are above 40, you probably remember the mega company, Enron Corporation, which was at some point the 7th largest company in America. And if you're less than 40, you're going to be amazed by the most epic corporate collapse in history. On December 2, 2001, Enron filed for bankruptcy. A stunning downfall shook the financial world and left thousands of Enron employees and investors completely devastated. But how did Enron, a company that had been touted as a model of innovation and success, fall so far and so fast?
Let's just say that behind the scenes, Enron was hiding a very, very dark secret.
Welcome to Economic Rhapsody, the channel that discovers history to understand the future. And today, I invite you to join me in exploring this unbelievable story of the Enron Scandal. A corporate tragedy full of corruption and business fraud that shook the business world and left a lasting impact on corporate governance and ethics. So hold on and let's get started. Our story takes us back to the 1980s when two small gas pipeline companies merged into the form of Enron. Houston Natural Gas and North came together with a common purpose. At the forefront of this merger was Kenneth, a visionary leader with extensive experience in the energy sector. Lay had previously served as the CEO of Houston Natural Gas and brought his industry knowledge to the table. He had grand ambitions for Enron, envisioning it as the world's foremost energy company that would revolutionize the industry. Joining Lay in his quest was Jeff Skilling, a talented executive known for his innovative thinking and finance expertise. Skilling's fresh perspective and deep understanding of financial intricacies would prove pivotal in transforming Enron from a gas pipeline company into an energy trading powerhouse. Skilling's pioneering efforts involved the development and utilization of a new category of financial instruments known as energy trading derivatives, which became instrumental in Enron's rapid expansion and profitability.
Jeff, my vision for Enron goes beyond the ordinary. I see Enron as the world's leading energy company, a titan that will revolutionize the industry. You believe we can do that?
Of course we can. We won't just be another gas pipeline company. We'll buy and sell energy contracts like stocks, creating a market where none existed before. Enron will become unstoppable, and the sky is the limit for us.
Lay and Skilling shared an ambitious conversation in the boardroom, driven by their determination and belief in Enron's potential. They recognized the untapped opportunity in buying and selling energy contracts as commodities, paving the way for a thriving market that would position Enron at the front line of this new era. As Enron soared to new heights, propelled by the charisma and ambition of its leaders, cracks began to form within the company's foundation. The relentless pressure to meet soaring expectations pushed Enron into shady territory. In its pursuit of dominance, the company ventured into complex financial arrangements and accounting practices that blurred the true state of its financial health. While Lay and Skilling's conversations reflected their aspirations, it was their crazy ambition that ultimately led to Enron's downfall. Behind the scenes, Enron's financial statements were manipulated, inflated, and distorted to paint a falsely positive picture of the company's performance. This set the stage for one of the most notorious scandals in corporate history, the Enron Scandal. As Enron's stock price soared to astronomical levels, with an astonishing increase of over 500% in just 2 years, people around the world were amazed by its seemingly unstoppable and meteoric rise. It became a shining example of corporate achievement, earning the admiration and attention of investors, analysts, and industry experts worldwide. However, beneath the surface of this impressive image, a hidden and fraudulent game of financial manipulations was orchestrated to mask the company's precarious financial situation.
Our financial statements are becoming a liability. We need a way to hide our mounting debts and losses from the public.
I agree. We can't afford to let the world know the truth. It will damage both the stock value and our own bonuses. We need our trusted accounting firm, Arthur Andersen, to help us fix the numbers. They must have the expertise to conceal our true financial standing and maintain the illusion of profitability.
These closed-door conversations unveil the dark tactics employed by Enron's executives as they weaved a complex tapestry of fraud. Driven by the fear of exposure and an insatiable thirst for maintaining their perceived success, they created a grand scheme to manipulate financial statements and conceal the true state of the company's financial health. Enron's collaboration with Arthur Andersen LLP, one of the most reputable accounting firms at the time, and which became one of the Big Five accounting firms, added another layer to their fraudulent practices. Andersen was tasked with auditing Enron's financial statements and ensuring their compliance with accounting standards. However, instead of acting as a gatekeeper of integrity, Arthur Andersen became complicit in the deception. Through a series of questionable practices, Arthur Andersen aided Enron in concealing their mounting debts and losses. One of the key strategies employed was the creation of a network of shell companies. These entities, with innocent names and elusive purposes, were used to shift Enron's liabilities off the books and create the illusion of financial strength. Enron's powerful scam was complex and well-designed, but at the same time, it was insanely simple. Enron, at some point, had a debt of $1 billion, and all they did to get rid of this debt was transfer it to shell companies. By removing this debt from their balance sheet, Enron's financial statements presented a healthier picture, indicating reduced liabilities and inflated profitability. Can you believe that these kinds of things were possible and so easy to be done only less than 25 years ago? Simply unbelievable. Anyway, it was much more than that. The accounting tricks didn't stop there. Enron, with the assistance of Arthur Andersen, engaged in another dubious practice known as market accounting. Mark-to-market accounting, an accounting approach that values assets and liabilities based on their current market prices and thus can be susceptible to abuse as it allows companies to manipulate financial statements and misrepresent their financial health by inflating profits and hiding actual losses. This technique allowed them to estimate the future profits of long-term contracts and record them as immediate gains, regardless of whether the contracts had actually generated revenue. And usually, they weren't worth anything, and not due to lack of luck, if you know what I mean. This inflated their reported profits and painted a distorted picture of their financial success. For instance, imagine Enron entered into a long-term energy contract with an expected profit of $100 million over 5 years. Instead of recognizing the revenue over the duration of the contract, a thing that might be subjected to industry negative trends and changes and thus might reduce the real profit, they recorded the entire $100 million as an immediate gain. This further inflated their reported profits, sustaining the illusion of remarkable financial performance. This criminal collaboration between Enron and Arthur Andersen exemplified the breakdown of ethical standards within the accounting profession. The once reputable firm, entrusted with the responsibility of ensuring financial transparency and accuracy, succumbed to the allure of Enron's success and compromised its integrity for the sake of greed. In the heart of Enron's crumbling empire, a single voice emerged, determined to reveal the truth. Enron's vice president for corporate development, Sherron Watkins, an employee with inspiring integrity, stumbled upon the accounting irregularities plaguing Enron. She was determined to uncover the looming accounting scandal. In this pivotal moment, in August 2001, she sent a memo to Ken Lay, known as the Enron whistleblower letter.
Dear Ken, I implore you to pay attention. I have uncovered significant accounting irregularities at Enron that threaten to link us into a scandal of tremendous proportions.
Sadly, Sherron's urgent request, filled with panic and honest concern, fell on deaf ears. Despite her courageous attempt to shed light on the truth, her memo was met with disinterest and apathy. The stage was set for a revelation that would shake Enron's foundations to their core. Later on, Sherron Watkins' memo played a crucial role in the investigation and subsequent legal proceedings related to the Enron scandal. While the specific memo itself may not have been presented as evidence in court, its content and the information it contained were highly influential in that case.
We are standing a few steps ahead of a disaster. We must take swift actions to conceal some done things to erase any incriminating evidence that could expose us.
Yep, it is critical that we maintain an illusion of stability. I'd even encourage our employees to invest more of their savings in our stock, so it will make things look even more stable and positive. Don't worry, I'm on it right now.
Well, this is not a real recorded call, but this conversation offers a glimpse into the desperate mindset of Enron's executives as they hold the last relics of their crumbling empire. Faced with mounting evidence and the undeniable disintegration of their deceptive practices, their focus shifted from fixing the situation to self-preservation. Driven by fear and a twisted sense of self-interest, Enron's executives resorted to extreme measures. They were willing to destroy evidence, manipulate the truth, and even fool their own employees, making them invest in a sinking ship. It was a breathtaking display of moral bankruptcy, a stark departure from the values and principles that should guide corporate leadership. But the truth, like a relentless force, cannot be silenced forever. The catalysts for the covering of Enron's deception were the intensive work of the Securities and Exchange Commission, also known as the SEC, and more than that, the persistence of investigative journalists such as Bethany McLean and Peter Elkind with their groundbreaking article, "Is Enron Overpriced?" that was published in Fortune magazine in March 2001 and played a pivotal role in questioning Enron's financial practices. Through tireless efforts and a commitment to uncovering the truth, they exposed the labyrinth of scams woven by Enron's executives. The revelation struck like lightning, shaking the foundations of the financial world. The true scope of Enron's fraud was laid bare, and its consequences echoed through the halls of power. The stock price plummeted in a legendary downturn, experiencing a 100% decline in less than 1 year. At the beginning of 2001, Enron had a gigantic market value of around $60 billion. $60 billion in 2001 is roughly equivalent to $100 billion in 2023. This highlights the immense success of the company, or at least what the unfortunate investors believed. To give you a sense of Enron's magnitude, its market value was comparable to that of Booking.com, which is worth $98 billion these days. Can you imagine waking up one day to find out that Booking.com was all the time nothing but a big scam? Sounds like science fiction to me. The downfall of Enron resulted in the loss of billions of dollars in shareholder value and left countless lives shattered in its wake. The aftermath of the Enron scandal was nothing less than a catastrophe. The reverberations of the company's deceitful practices sent shockwaves throughout the corporate world. Thousands of dedicated employees lost their jobs, and their livelihoods were shattered. The hard-earned retirement savings of Enron's employees vanished into thin air, leaving them in a state of financial ruin. Investors watched in despair as their portfolios powdered, with Enron's stock price diving to rock bottom. The Enron scandal had ignited a storm of public outrage and demanded swift justice. Inside the courtroom, in a very rapid trial process that started in January 2006 and ended in about 6 months, Enron's leaders faced the consequences of their actions.
Mr. Skilling, as the CEO of Enron, it is alleged that you were at the helm of the company, overseeing its day-to-day operations. Is it not true that you had knowledge of the fraudulent activities taking place at your company?
I want to make it clear that I had no knowledge of any wrongdoing occurring at Enron. I place my trust in my associates to uphold our ethical standards and fulfill their duties with integrity.
Yet, the evidence presented before this court paints a different picture, Mr. Skilling. Enron's financial statements were systematically manipulated, debts were intentionally concealed, and vast sums of money were siphoned off. Are you truly suggesting that you had no knowledge or involvement in these actions?
While I may have been unaware of the specific details and complexities of the financial manipulations, I want to emphasize that I had no intention to defraud anyone. I operated with the best interests of the company in mind.
The courtroom drama unfolded, casting a glaring spotlight on Enron's corporate culture and the lengths to which its executives went to deceive the public. With each revelation, the true extent of Enron's deception became clearer. The evidence showcased a web of deceit, a deliberate orchestration of financial misrepresentation and fraud that had taken place under the image of success and prosperity. The fallout from the Enron scandal was tremendous. It extended far beyond the walls of the courtroom, impacting the lives of countless individuals. Employees, investors, and people's pension funds that were once considered secure quickly faded, leaving retirees without a safety net. Investors and shareholders suffered substantial financial losses as the stock price of Enron plummeted to unprecedented lows. Enron's top executives faced varying fates in the wake of the scandal. Some, like Kenneth and Jeffrey Skilling, were convicted of multiple charges, including fraud and conspiracy. Kenneth passed away before he could serve his sentence, while Jeffrey Skilling was sentenced to over 24 years in prison with a nice bonus of a modest $45 million fine. Other executives faced legal repercussions and fines for their roles in the fraud. Oh, and about Arthur Andersen LLP. Following the trial, this firm obviously dissolved as well. The public, outraged by the magnitude of the scandal, demanded accountability. The Enron case became a symbol of corporate greed and corruption, fueling calls for stricter regulations, improved transparency, and increased ethical standards within the corporate world. The seismic impact of the Enron scandal reverberated throughout the business world, sparking a resounding call for change and stricter regulations. Senior lawmakers from both sides of the political map, such as Senator Bernie Sanders and Senator Mitt Romney, recognized the urgent need for reforms in the wake of Enron's collapse. The politicians reflected the collective determination to perform meaningful reforms. The Enron scandal served as a catalyst for change, giving birth to the Sarbanes-Oxley Act and a series of sweeping measures aimed at preventing future corporate catastrophes. The Sarbanes-Oxley Act, named after its sponsors Senator Paul Sarbanes and Representative Michael Oxley, was signed into law by President George W. Bush in 2002. The act aimed to enhance corporate governance, improve financial reporting, and strengthen regulatory oversight. It introduced stricter standards for financial disclosures, established the Public Company Accounting Oversight Board to regulate auditing firms, and imposed more rigorous penalties for corporate fraud. President Bush, in response to the Enron scandal, acknowledged the need for reforms, stating,
"We will not tolerate dishonesty in the boardrooms of America. We must usher in a new era of integrity in corporate America."
His words resonated with the public, reflecting the widespread outrage and the demand for accountability. Lawmakers from both major political parties recognized the urgency of the situation. Democratic Senator Paul Sarbanes emphasized, "The Enron scandal exposed serious deficiencies in our financial reporting system. We must ensure that investors can trust the information provided by companies." Republican Representative Michael Oxley echoed these sentiments, stating, "The reforms we are proposing will strengthen oversight and restore investor confidence." In various forums and interviews, lawmakers expressed their concerns about the Enron scandal and their determination to prevent such incidents in the future. They called for greater transparency, stricter regulations, and improved corporate governance practices. The Enron scandal became a rallying cry for bipartisan efforts to protect investors, maintain market integrity, and restore public trust in the financial system. The passing of the Sarbanes-Oxley Act marked a turning point in corporate governance and financial regulation. It imposed greater accountability on companies, their executives, and auditors. The reforms brought about by the act aimed to create a more robust and transparent financial system where ethical conduct and responsible management would last. Thank you for joining me on this Enron journey. I personally prepare to see juggling in the circus rather than corporate leaders juggling books. I'm full of hope this video has provided you with valuable insights and a deeper understanding of this crazy scandal from the very close past. If you enjoyed this content, please consider subscribing to support the channel and for getting notified about future videos on other fascinating economic events from history. Please also share, like, and comment with facts, corrections, ideas, and questions. Economic Rhapsody. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.